The election this coming October is going to be quite the alley fight, isn't it? It's going to be a battle of epic proportions. And the organized left in this country is doing everything they can to shut down the Harper Conservatives. Case in point, Unifor. I was telling you last week that Canada's largest private sector union is trying to make private companies pay for their politics. They are threatening to go out on strike if CN Rail doesn't put hundreds of thousands of dollars into their political action fund. Unifor says that's not true. They're not political. They just want a community fund. Really? Listen to Jerry Diaz, the head of Unifor, at last September's Unifor convention.
Not only participating in the politics of the country, but shaping it and changing it. We all understand that our fighting and our struggles and our commitments has to culminate next year in elections of progressive parties federally and the absolute defeat of Stephen Harper. So guess what? If you thought year one was one heck of a ride, get ready for year number 2. Let's get it done, Unifor.
Fast forward to now, and you look at groups like Dogwood Initiative. This is an activist group on the left coast out in BC that's being very open about what they're doing. Kai Nagata, a former journalist who penned this epic, sophomoric rant, really, about why he was leaving the media because he couldn't be the activist he wanted to be. He's writing about how Dogwood Initiative, One Cowichan, and Unifor, as well as Lead Now, are all working together so that they can train volunteers. Their plan? Learn from Obama, learn from Organizing for America, and train hundreds of thousands of volunteers and then target ridings across the country. Now, their focus happens to be British Columbia, but as you look at this rundown of training sessions from the Canadian Labour Congress, you can see that labour organizations are doing this across the country. So this isn't just a small-time fight, this is a big-time fight. And the money that will be spent between now and when the writ drops by organized labour is unreal. Everyone knows that you can only spend a certain amount and there's third-party advertising limits during an election. But in the lead up to an election, all bets are off. Unlimited amounts of money can be spent. And so between now and the end of the summer, you're going to be bombarded with attack ads from unions, but also you're going to see, and this is probably the most important part, organized efforts inside the labor movement to get so-called grassroots groups moving and organized in your neighborhood so that when the street fight comes to their alley, they're ready to attack Harper. Is it fair politics? I'll leave that up to you. All I can say is there are millions of Canadians who wouldn't want their dues money going to this sort of political effort. But they have no option, they have no choice, because the law forces them to pay union dues, and how that dues money is spent, well, that's up to the union bosses. And they've made one thing clear. It doesn't matter how many of their members say they vote for the Harper Conservatives, they want to take the Conservatives down.